Have you ever imagined losing an arm and then watching it grow back? Not through surgery, not through advanced technology, not through a robotic replacement, but naturally. A brand new arm, complete with bone, muscle, blood vessels, nerves, skin, and everything needed to function exactly as before. For humans, that sounds impossible. Like something from a science fiction movie, a superpower reserved for comic book heroes. Because when humans lose a major body part, it is usually gone forever. A cut can heal. A broken bone can mend. Damaged skin can repair itself. But a lost arm does not grow back. A missing leg does not return. A lost eye does not regenerate. Yet somewhere on Earth right now, there are animals capable of doing exactly that. Animals that can regrow limbs. Animals that can replace damaged organs. Animals that can rebuild parts of their nervous systems. Animals that can recover from injuries that would be fatal to most other creatures. And some of them can regenerate so much of their bodies that they seem to challenge our very definition of life itself. Today, we are exploring one of the most astonishing abilities ever produced by evolution: the ability to regenerate, the ability to rebuild, the ability to begin again. This is the story of animals that can regenerate their bodies. And as we explore their remarkable abilities, we may discover that nature has developed solutions to injury and healing far beyond anything humans have ever achieved. Before we meet these extraordinary creatures, we first need to understand what regeneration actually is. At its simplest, regeneration is the ability to replace lost or damaged body parts. Interestingly, humans possess a limited form of regeneration. Our skin continuously renews itself. Our blood cells are constantly replaced. Bones can repair fractures. Even the liver can regrow significant portions of tissue after injury. So regeneration is not completely foreign to us. But compared to some animals, our abilities are extremely limited. Imagine losing a finger and growing it back. Imagine replacing an entire arm. Imagine rebuilding half of your body. For certain animals, these are not fantasies. They are everyday biological realities. And our journey begins beneath the ocean waves. The ocean is home to one of the most famous regenerative animals on Earth, the starfish. At first glance, a starfish appears simple, slow-moving, quiet, almost primitive. Nothing about its appearance suggests extraordinary biological powers. Yet hidden within its body is one of nature's most remarkable abilities. If a starfish loses an arm, it can grow a new one. That alone would be impressive, but some species can do even more. In certain cases, a detached arm that retains part of the central body can regenerate into an entirely new starfish. Think about that for a moment. One arm, one fragment, and eventually a complete new animal emerges. It is as though every part of the body contains a blueprint for rebuilding the whole organism. The process takes time, weeks, months, sometimes years. But eventually, the missing structures return. New tissues form, new organs develop, and a new starfish is created. This ability provides an enormous survival advantage. Predators may succeed in removing a limb, but the starfish survives and eventually replaces what was lost. For an animal living in a dangerous environment, regeneration can mean the difference between life and death. Yet, as remarkable as starfish are, they are not the champions of regeneration. For that, we must travel to the lakes and canals of Mexico. There, we encounter one of the most extraordinary animals ever studied by scientists, the axolotl. At first glance, the axolotl looks harmless, almost cute. A small aquatic salamander with feathery external gills extending from the sides of its head. Its appearance gives little indication of the incredible abilities hidden within its body. Because the axolotl can regenerate entire limbs, not just pieces, entire limbs, complete with bones, muscles, blood vessels, nerves, and skin. If an axolotl loses a leg, the regeneration process begins almost immediately. Specialized cells gather at the injury site. A structure known as a blastema forms. These cells behave almost like stem cells. They divide rapidly, they reorganize, and they begin constructing a replacement limb from scratch. Weeks later, a new leg emerges. Months later, it may be nearly indistinguishable from the original. But the axolotl's abilities extend even further. It can regenerate parts of its tail, sections of its spinal cord, parts of its heart, portions of its brain, even damaged eye tissue. For scientists, this makes the axolotl one of the most valuable animals in regenerative biology. Because if researchers can understand how axolotls perform these repairs, it may one day help revolutionize human medicine. Imagine patients recovering from severe injuries by regrowing damaged tissues. Imagine spinal cord injuries becoming treatable. Imagine organs repairing themselves. The axolotl offers a glimpse into possibilities that once seemed impossible. Yet there is another creature that pushes regeneration even further, a tiny freshwater flatworm known as the planarian. The planarian is not large. It is not powerful, and most people will never notice one in the wild. But this small worm possesses abilities so extraordinary that they almost sound fictional. If a planarian is cut in half, both halves can regenerate into complete animals. If it is divided into several pieces, those pieces can regenerate as well. In some experiments, tiny fragments have rebuilt entire organisms. A new head, new eyes, a new nervous system, a new digestive system, an entirely new body. How is this possible? The answer lies in specialized cells called neoblasts. These cells function like biological repair crews. They can transform into nearly any cell type required by the body, and they exist throughout the planarian's tissues. When injury occurs, the neoblasts mobilize. They divide rapidly. They replace what was lost, and they reconstruct the missing structures. The result is one of the most powerful regenerative systems ever discovered. Scientists have studied planarians for decades because they offer valuable clues about cellular repair, stem cells, and the mechanisms of tissue regeneration. As astonishing as these creatures are, regeneration is not limited to aquatic animals. Many reptiles possess remarkable regenerative abilities as well. One familiar example is the lizard. Perhaps you have seen it happen. A predator attacks. The lizard escapes, but its tail remains behind, detached, still wriggling, still moving, distracting the predator while the lizard flees. This process is known as autonomy, the deliberate shedding of a body part to escape danger. What makes this strategy so effective is what happens afterward. The tail grows back. Not instantly, not perfectly, but effectively. Over time, a new tail develops. The replacement may differ slightly from the original, but it restores many of the functions the lizard needs. For the lizard, sacrificing a tail is not the end. It is a temporary loss, a trade that greatly increases its chance of survival. Among marine animals, regeneration reaches even more extraordinary levels. Sea cucumbers can expel internal organs when threatened. Yes, they're internal organs. When attacked, some species eject parts of their digestive system as a defensive mechanism. The predator becomes distracted. The sea cucumber escapes. Then, over time, it regenerates the lost organs. Imagine losing part of your digestive system and simply growing it back. For sea cucumbers, this remarkable process is part of normal survival. And then there is the hydra, a tiny freshwater organism named after the mythical multi-headed monster. Hydras possess one of the most fascinating regenerative abilities known. If cut into pieces, many of those pieces can regenerate into complete hydras. Even more astonishing, hydras show little evidence of biological aging under ideal conditions. Their stem cells continuously renew their tissues. In theory, a hydra may avoid many of the aging processes that affect most animals. While not truly immortal, they challenge our understanding of lifespan and regeneration. The deeper scientists investigate regenerative animals, the more fascinating questions emerge. Why can these animals regenerate so effectively, while humans cannot? Did our distant ancestors possess stronger regenerative abilities? Have humans lost those abilities over evolutionary time? Or are the biological instructions still hidden within our genes, waiting to be understood? Researchers continue searching for answers, and each discovery brings new possibilities. The study of regeneration is no longer simply about animals. It is about medicine, healing, and the future of human health. Because every starfish that regrows an arm, every axolotl that replaces a limb, every planarian that rebuilds its body may hold clues that could transform medicine forever. When we step back and look at all these creatures together, a remarkable pattern appears. Nature is not built around perfection. Injury happens, predators attack, accidents occur, body parts are lost. Yet evolution has repeatedly found ways to overcome those challenges. Some animals survive by being faster. Others survive by being stronger. Some rely on camouflage. Others use venom. But regenerative animals survive through something different: the ability to recover, the ability to rebuild, the ability to start over. And perhaps that is one of the most powerful lessons nature has to offer. Because regeneration is more than a biological process. It is a reminder that damage does not always mean the end. Sometimes it is simply the beginning of repair. Perhaps right now, deep beneath the ocean, a starfish is growing a new arm. In a quiet Mexican canal, an axolotl is rebuilding damaged tissue. Under a scientist's microscope, a tiny planarian is constructing an entirely new body. And together, they remind us that life is far more resilient than it appears. Because in nature, losing something is not always the end of the story. Sometimes it is merely the first chapter of growing it back.